Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me borrow the car in this video. Toyota of Naperville is one of the largest Toyota dealers in Illinois, ready to find the right car for you.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Toyota Crown Limited. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline-4 as well as a hybrid system, and down below is an eCVT. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Toyota Crown for two reasons. First of all, it's a brand new vehicle in Toyota's lineup. The Toyota Crown is actually replacing the outgoing Toyota Avalon, so it has quite big shoes to fill. But the second reason is the fact that I might be one of the very few YouTube channels to feature the new Toyota Crown who has also driven the older Toyota Crown. So Toyota has actually been using the Crown name since the 1950s. However, just not here. They sold them here for a little bit back in the day, but then they went to just their home market, and those were the Royal Saloons. I drove a wagon version with the 2JZ in it. And so I've actually driven a couple of Crowns before they came back to the US, so I'm excited to bring that knowledge to this review as well. But if you would like to share your vehicle with me, new or old, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and you would get a video of your car, just like the one you're watching now of this Toyota Crown. But let's get back to that hybrid drivetrain. Well, that's the only way that this Crown comes. Now, there are two different hybrid options. You can get the Turbo 2.4 Hybrid Max, or there's this 2.5 liter hybrid that is in this current car that I'm driving, and that comes with 236 horsepower. But this vehicle costs about $7,000 less than the Platinum, so that's where you're gonna see that savings. All right, let's put it up into sport mode. I guess we'll see. Engine kicks in. It's fine. It's not gonna knock your socks off, but that's okay. I particularly like my socks being on. I actually sleep with my socks on, so it's fine. Like I said, paired to it is an eCVT. It's fine. It's doing the job in shifting. If you do go up to the 2.4 liter, the better drivetrain, that actually comes with a 6-speed automatic. So kind of interesting that they also changed the transmission depending on the engine. So if you are a fan of more traditional transmissions, there is that option for you. But this is the eCVT. Driving it around town, you don't really notice it because hybrids drive differently anyway. You don't really notice that it's sort of shifting in and out, changing ratios. It's all sort of in the back of your head and not really noticeable, which is definitely nice to see. Last but not least, the Crown is all-wheel drive, and that's the only way that the Crown comes. You can only get them in all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to actually drive the Toyota Crown? Well, it actually drives really, really nice. It's quiet. I know I always yell in these videos, but that's just my own bravado. They're nice and quiet. It's comfortable. However, it's not quite as comfortable as the outgoing Crowns. The Crown used to be the big sedan from Toyota. That was a big luxury sedan. The Royal Saloon that I drove had a 4-liter V8 under the hood that drove like butter. The 1UZ, fantastic engine. Even the 2J straight 6 in the wagon that I drove was fantastic. So this doesn't really embody what the old Crowns used to be, but I think it is a decent fill-in for the Avalon. It does have that nice, smooth driving experience. Visibility is actually really good for a modern vehicle. Steering isn't too heavy, throttle input isn't too touchy, brakes aren't too touchy. It's actually a pretty good machine. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Off to the left, I do have some eco and power modes, and off to the right, I have my speedometer, and in the center, I get my speed, but of course, this stuff can be changed. I'll cycle through a couple of the different screens that are offered. I do like that this is sort of Toyota's more upgraded gauge cluster screen. Sometimes they still offer analog gauges, and that's all gone for the Crown. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my selectors for that screen, as well as phone options, volume and voice commands, and off to the right we have our adaptive cruise options, skip track, and mode. The steering wheel feels good. It looks like it's pit pocketed out of the BZ4X or the new Prius, so I like that current design. Off to the left, I do have my climate control vent, as well as automatic headlights, and my heated wipers. Very, very nice for living here in the Midwest. Then we do get a trunk release, gas cap release, and a nice little brown accent. Moving on to the door, we have 2 different levels of memory seats, power folding mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have Toyota's brand new infotainment system they've started rolling out at the beginning of this year, or should I say for the 2023 model year vehicles. The new Corolla gets this, the new Sequoia gets this, and I'm a decent fan. It works pretty well. It's easy to use. Of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Toyota finally getting with the current tech. And here's what the camera system looks like, in case you're curious, which I think actually is really good. This has always been the Achilles heel of Toyota, is terrible backup cameras. The Crown actually has a decent one, and I'm not mad about it. Then we do have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch, and then we have our climate controls. So I do have heated and ventilated seats. I get dual zone climate, and I really, really like how simple the climate controls are laid out. And I just love the fact that they're not found in like a menu or a sub menu on the screen. They're actual physical climate controls, and that is amazing. Moving on to the center console, we do have a wireless charger up off to the left, and our view button, so I could toggle the camera on and off while moving at slow speeds or parked. Then we have the shifter. The shifter's cherry picked right out of the Toyota Prius, or if you want to sound classier, it's actually the shifter found in the Lexus LC500. So you have a shifter from a $100,000 car in here. Then we have our drive modes select. So we have normal, sport, and eco, and I love this graphic that comes up in the gauge cluster when you switch modes. I think that is phenomenal. I think more cars should do it, and I'm happy that the Crown did. Then we have our traction control off, auto holding brake, EV mode, and our power parking brake. Off to the right, however, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2023 Toyota Crown Limited, and I'm happy to report that it passes. I knew this, though, because I actually tested one at the Chicago Auto Show back in February, so it was already written in stone that the Toyota Crown passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then I do get a center console with a USB and 12-volt outlet inside. And then we got to talk about the seats. They are heated, ventilated, power, and memory, which is pretty much everything I can ask for from a $50,000 car. And I like that about it. I also like the sort of dark chocolate interior that this car gets. It's a nice little mix. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2023 Toyota Crown Limited. And first of all, knee room, good. Headroom, there is this bubble, so like if I lean my head back, it's good. But if I lean forward, I'm hitting my sunglasses. I'm 5'11", I'm not a small guy, so you should be fine back here. I do have JBL speakers in the doors, which is very, very nice. I also get JBL speakers up front. I forgot to mention that with the infotainment, but JBL speakers up front. I also do, of course, have power windows, obviously, but I do have heated seats back here, which is very, very nice for a mid-range Toyota Crown. The Limited is not the top trim, but it's not the bottom. So, very nice to see that. I also get 2 USB-C chargers down below and 2 climate control vents, so they didn't forget about us in the back in terms of heating and cooling. I also do have a center console with a openable cup holder in there, kind of interesting. But other than that, I get some reading lights up here that are LED, very nice to see on a new vehicle. That's pretty much it. So very, very decent back seats, not the best thing in the world. I really don't like this bump, but I assume it's because of the panoramic roof. I keep hitting my glasses. Yeah, but anyway, pretty decent. Let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Toyota Crown, and it looks like the trunk would go around the edge there like a Lucid. It does not. So press and hold the trunk like that. Come in, pop it up. And again, I thought it would maybe be a hatchback. It is also not. So this is the opening of the trunk. I do have pull tabs here to lower the second row of seats. We do have this nice Toyota Crown mat. And coming down here, underneath the mat, what do we think? Do we think it has a spare tire? Do we think it has a can of Fix-A-Flat? If I could pull, how do you, oh, you pull it up with that, okay. Oh, we actually do get a spare tire, look at that. Very rare to find in new vehicles. Very nice. So that is the cargo space of the Toyota Crown. Nothing really to notice or like really, brag about, but there it is. Now we got to talk about the looks, and the looks are interesting to say the least. It sort of gives me AMC Eagle vibes. If you're familiar with the AMC Eagle, back in the day it was a four-wheel drive sedan or wagon offered in the 70s and 80s that was sort of lifted. It was a crossover before crossovers. This sort of embodies that a little bit because it looks like it should be a sedan, but it sits a lot higher than you would think. So, an interesting stylistic choice from Toyota. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts on the Toyota Crown. I don't know why I said it like that. I really do like this car. I think this is another good product from Toyota. It's simple enough. It's basic enough, at least in the modern era. Yes, it's a hybrid. Yes, it has a lot going on. Yes, it has an eCVT. But the controls in here are all very familiar. The infotainment is easy to use. The gauges are clear and concise. The steering is friendly. I can see out of the dang thing. It does all of the things that a car should do really well, and I think for a more upscale sedan, I think it is pretty good. However, I do truly miss the Toyota Avalon. Toyota Avalon was such an unproblematic vehicle throughout its entire run through several generations that it's going to be hard to compete with this car. Or should I say, this car is going to have trouble competing with the Avalon. The Avalon was so strong, it almost seemed chiseled out of limestone and dead reliable. Even the older generations, actually, especially the older generations. I love that car. It was one of the best Toyota products ever made. And then they killed it for this. And I'm not saying that this car is bad. I don't want to shoot the messenger. It's not this car's fault that it has such a gap in the lineup to take hold of. And so objectively, I really like this. As its own standalone vehicle, as its own name, the Crown is a good car. But it's just not the Avalon. Maybe this Crown will go on to be the most famed Toyota product in their lineup. Maybe 5-10 years down the road, I'll say, oh my gosh, I can't get enough of this Crown. Maybe I will personally own a Crown down the road. But for right now in 2023, this is the new kid on the block. And there's going to be some growing pains with that. But I think if Toyota and consumers are willing to stick with it, I think they will reap the benefits. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Toyota Crown. I was so excited to get behind the wheel of this new vehicle. Toyota of Naperville is one of my longest running clients and partnerships. They are absolutely awesome. I cannot say enough good things about their staff and their inventory. They always have something new and interesting for me to drive, and I can't thank them enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.